The structure looms. Eastern State Penitentiary, a castle of despair in Philadelphia. Its stone walls rise high, a grim silhouette against the city, holding back more than just prisoners. They hold back time secrets and a chill that seeps from the very stones. Built to intimidate, to strike fear, its Gothic battlements and narrow windows speak of punishment and isolation. The massive wooden gate is an entrance to another world, a world of judgment and long shadows. Many entered, few left unchanged. Some, they say, never left at all. Their spirits are whispered to still roam these decaying halls. Walking toward it, you feel a pull, a morbid curiosity mixed with an urge to turn back. The silence presses in, broken only by the wind whistling through broken panes, or is it just the wind? The penitentiary's reputation is dark, earned over decades of sorrow. Locals speak of it in hushed tones, feeling the weight of its past. As you pass through the gates, the world outside fades, replaced by echoing corridors and crumbling cell blocks. Each stone seems to have absorbed misery, fear, and loneliness. This isn't just an old building, it's a tomb holding on to its ghosts. Here, the veil between worlds feels dangerously thin. You are now within its grasp. The walls are listening, and waiting. Welcome to Eastern State Penitentiary, where the past never truly dies. Eastern State Penitentiary opened in 1829 with a radical idea, not just to confine but to reform through solitude. The Quakers believed isolation would lead to penitence, to hearing God's voice. So they designed a prison of total separation, 7 cell blocks radiating from a central hub. Guards could watch every corridor, but prisoners saw no one. Each cell was a stone box, lit only by a single skylight, the Eye of God. A small door led to a private walled exercise yard, no human contact, for years. The Pennsylvania system demanded strict, unyielding silence. New prisoners arrived hooded, never seeing another inmate's face. The hood came off only once locked inside, alone with their thoughts and regrets. This was meant to break and rebuild them. But what did such profound isolation truly do? For some, perhaps reflection. For many, madness. The silence was a crushing weight, the solitude, a breeding ground for despair. The grand experiment in reform became a laboratory for psychological torment. The walls absorbed it all. The echoes of broken minds began to fill the empty spaces. Eastern State's legacy was set, not just as a prison, but as a monument to suffering. The ghosts of solitary confinement linger still. Here, silence was the harshest sentence, and its echoes remain. Imagine waking in that stone cell, cold, silent, lit only by a distant skylight, no sound but your own breathing. Breakfast arrives through a slot in the door, eaten alone. Work is done alone, weaving, shoemaking, all within the cell's confines. The day stretches endlessly, marked only by shifting light. Guards wear socks over their shoes to muffle footsteps, becoming phantoms in the corridors. The silence is the warden, the chains, pressing down every minute, every hour, every day. Some men spent decades in this enforced solitude, their minds frayed, spirits shattered. Dread was constant, fear of the unknown, of one's own thoughts, of never leaving. The small cell became a universe of despair. Human interaction was rare, a glimpse of a guard, a distant city sound. Punishments for breaking rules were severe. The mad chair, the iron gag, the water bath. These cruelties added layers of suffering to the already heavy atmosphere. Pain and terror soaked into the very fabric of Eastern State. The emotions didn't vanish, they lingered, haunting the halls. Every stone remembers, every corridor echoes with the past. This was daily life in Eastern State, a relentless silent torment. The cost of reform was human souls, and the price is still being paid. Here despair was routine, and hope was a memory. The walls never forget. Years passed, solitary was abandoned, but the spirits remembered. Cell Block 12 became infamous, not for living inmates but for something else. Guards heard whispers from empty cells, faint cries echoing in the night, as if someone was still trapped, still weeping. These weren't fleeting sounds, they were distinct, unmistakable. A guard would hear a sob, rush to the source and find nothing but cold, empty cells. The sounds faded, only to return later, from a different cell, or the air itself. It was unnerving, making even seasoned officers question their senses. One common report, a wailing sound high-pitched and mournful, emanating from the very walls. Some say it's a woman's cry, others a man in deep distress. It chills listeners to the bone, speaking of profound grief and unending suffering. Maintenance workers refused to work alone in that section, especially after dark. The air felt thick with sorrow. Paranormal investigators focused on this block, capturing EVPs, disembodied voices, whispers, sobbing sounds. The recordings offer chilling hints, confirming the guards weren't imagining things. Cell block 12 holds on to its anguish. The unseen weeping continues, a sad, eternal lament. The sorrow is palpable, a presence that refuses to fade. The past is alive here, echoing through the empty halls. Every night the weeping returns. Every night the prison mourns. The spirits are not at rest, and the living are not alone. In cell block 12, grief is a haunting companion. The walls cry out, and the world listens. Here, suffering never ends. The unseen weeping is forever. Cell block 4 has its own legend, a horror of presence, of being followed. Countless visitors report a sudden, overwhelming sense of being watched. Then, footsteps, unseen, unmistakable, echo behind them in the empty corridor. Quickening when they quicken, stopping when they stop. Imagine walking down that long, arched hallway, cells gaping on either side. Suddenly you hear it, thump, 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 someone is behind you. You turn, nothing, just the empty, decaying passage. You walk faster. The footsteps follow, closer now. A cold dread washes over you. You are not alone. Something is there. Something is following you. Many stories tell of people fleeing cell block 4 in terror, footsteps chasing them to the end of the block. Then silence. The entity seems bound to that area. Some report seeing a fleeting shadow, a dark form darting out of sight. It's a terrifying game of cat and mouse with an unseen pursuer. Even staff avoid cell block 4 when alone. The feeling of being stalked is too intense. It's not just the creak of an old building, it's intelligent. It reacts. It follows. Some believe it's the spirit of a former guard, still walking his beat. Others say it's a tormented inmate, forever pacing his ghostly prison. Whatever it is, it makes its presence known through the terror of pursuit. The fear is real. The footsteps are real. In cell block 4, you are never truly alone. The past walks with you, and sometimes, it chases. The relentless pursuit is part of Eastern State's legacy. The hunted become the haunted, and the chase never ends. Here, fear is a companion, and escape is only temporary. The prison courtyards, once places of solitary exercise, now open spaces under the sky. But even here, the past lingers. One of the most compelling accounts comes from a skeptic, a man who scoffed at ghost stories. On a private tour at dusk, he glanced toward an old guard tower. He saw a figure silhouetted against the fading light. A man in old-fashioned prison garb, just watching. He blinked. The figure remained, motionless, staring. He nudged his companion. "Do you see that?" But no one else could. The tower was empty. The figure vanished. The skeptic described the figure in detail, but the group saw nothing. The image was burned into his mind. He left Eastern State changed, no longer a scoffer but a believer, or at least deeply unsettled. Some places hold on to their tragedies. Sometimes those tragedies walk again, in the courtyards, in the towers, watching. The skeptic's story is a warning. Belief can come unbidden. The past can reveal itself to anyone, even the most doubtful. At Eastern State, the line between history and haunting is thin, and sometimes the ghosts choose their witnesses. The prison watches back. Ghost hunters and investigators flock to Eastern State armed with modern technology. Infrared cameras, audio recorders, EMF meters. They seek proof of the spectral residence. The equipment often reacts. EMF spikes, cold spots, batteries draining mysteriously. Investigators report feeling watched, touched, hearing their names whispered from empty rooms. Technology captures fragments. EVPs, shadowy figures, unexplained voices. One team recorded a voice sighing, "It hurts." Another caught a shadow darting down a hallway. Skeptics offer explanations. Drafts, old pipes, suggestion. But for those who spend a night inside, the evidence is visceral. The fear is real. The presence is real. Eastern State is not just haunted, it's alive with echoes of its past. Technology sometimes catches glimpses of that life. But the true proof is in the experience. The prison's energy is undeniable. Here the past refuses to stay silent, and the ghosts are never far. Eastern State Penitentiary closed as a prison in 1971, but its story didn't end. It decayed, then reopened as a museum, a place where thousands now walk its haunted halls. Many leave with their own stories, their own encounters with the unexplained. The spirits remain, drawn to the site's history and suffering. The chill is always there, the sense of being watched, never truly alone. The weight of centuries of human suffering is a force within these stone walls. Some say souls are trapped, bound to the place of their torment. Figures like Al Capone, guards, inmates, their energies imprinted on stone and iron. The solitary system was designed to break the will. Perhaps it broke something more. Perhaps it tethered souls here forever, If you visit, listen to the silence, watch the shadows, feel the air. You might sense them, the lingering presences, the chilling whispers. The prison still holds its spirits, locked in eternal confinement. After dark, some believe the original inmates reclaim their cells, still serving time, still waiting. Eastern State is a monument to suffering, and to the spirits that suffering left behind. The past is never truly gone here.